Hey, welcome. It is Wednesday, September 20th, and it is 7 p.m. So, uh, tonight's live, you voted on it. We are going to feature the Little Dreamers stamp set and dies. We're actually going to use a lot of the dies tonight. So, I hope you can sit back, grab a drink, relax, watch what I have for you tonight. And don't forget to like and share. And I've already forgotten to tell you who I am. I'm Nicole with Equally Creative by Nicole, and I'll be doing a class tonight showing you how to use Little Dreamers. And again, we're going to use our die cutting machine a whole lot. So let's go ahead and switch over the camera, and we're going to get started. All right, so there is the stamp set that you all voted on that you wanted to see live. So let me come over here so I can see your comments. If you are on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell to notify when I am live so you can catch me. And if you're on the replay, just tag me. Let me know you're watching the replay. Tell me what you think about this adorable set. So let's go ahead. These are the stamps that come. You can see we've got the cute lion and the little cow and the elephant. And this looks like a skunk to me with a little net. Might be trying to catch some Z's or catch some stars, some shooting stars. We've got 3 sentiments. Congratulations on your new little one. Little baby, big love, and a star is born. So we've got those right there. We've got the shooting star and some little stars here. So lots of cuteness in this. I've got so many babies that I am behind on and hopefully will be on time for. I have a new niece arriving in about a month, I do believe. So I'm very, very, very excited. Let's get started. Let's see, I'll put those aside. And let's see, this is going to be the first card of the night. I did use that little baby big love. And I loved making it. I love the star cutout. It's got a little bit of dimension behind the layer behind it, so you can see that that is little die cut stars. And let's get started with that one. So set this aside. I've got all the pieces and parts ready to go. Let's see. And again, I said we're going to do a lot of die cutting today. The good news is when you buy a kit from me, you do not have to buy the die cut. Technically, you don't have to buy the stamps either. You could turn this into whatever kind of card you want with the stamps that you have at home, because I cannot send stamped images. Now, I pre-stamped this for our live tonight, but you would just get a plain piece of cardstock sent with you. And I would die cut these stars for you. And I would die cut any of the other parts. So as you can see, we've got a card base here, and our card base is going to open on the left like this. Okay. We have this top piece that we're about to die cut our stars from. And underneath that, we will have this layer of Misty Moonlight. Okay. And our circle is going to be punched out of this. I'm going to go ahead and do that because it's right here and I can get it out of the way. So here is our Misty Moonlight 6x6 DSP. You buy that by the colorway. So you actually get one of each of the colors there. Not one of each. You will get colors, one of each of the colorways, but there's multiple pages of each color. Whew, let's talk tonight. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use this star die cut piece right here. Got some. ready to go. Set that aside. So this is the plate, the die plate for this one. It does leave a slight indent, but I didn't see that as too much of a negative. Once you add your embellishments, it kind of disappears. It doesn't really show up. I am using the big emboss and cut machine because my paper, which is like 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, is not going to fit through the mini die cut machine. So I did go ahead and pull out the big one for the evening. And I am going to do 2 of these passes. And let's get a little bit of washi tape here. And I like to try to take some of the sticky off. You can stick it to your shirt and pull it up and get a little bit of lint on it. So, and then I'm just going to use that to kind of hold it in place. I like to use one of the boards, the cutting boards, just for the base, and then the other one stays clear on top. And I saw another demonstrator talk about how when her bottom plate gets too cut up and she's done both sides all the way, she will take that top one and replace it with the bottom and grab a new one. And then she's not replacing 2 parts every time they wear out. So I thought that was pretty clever. I already do half of that by keeping 1 piece just for the top. So it's always helpful to get little tips and tricks from other people. Now, again, another trick is having this handy dandy take a pick tool. It will pop out all of those little teeny tiny stars from inside here. You can see I still have a couple left, so we're going to pop those out. And I'm sure I will be finding little stars everywhere for a little while. Let's see. So I'm just going to scrape those little pieces off. They do get a little static cling to them sometimes. So you can see how that looks nice and holy, but stars. You can see how it does put a tiny little indent. Again, I really don't think it matters. And you can see how you can overlap this and make a continuous set of stars across the top here. So let me run this through one more time. We are going to do 3 cards tonight. And if you want the kit to make these 3 cards, there is a link on the YouTube page for that in the description. Otherwise, you can send me a private message and I can send you the link for how to make that happen. So there is our continuous border of star cutout. Love it. Let's see if I can get some of these into my little trash can here. And you can see how my plate is getting kind of nasty. I'm gonna have to order a second set soon, but it'll be all right. Okay. So I'll move this out of the way. And I'm gonna poke the rest of these stars out. You could use these as confetti in a shaker card. One last one right here. A little sticker back on there. All right. So we'll move this out of the way. Hopefully I won't lose it. And put this aside. All right. So now we have the top layer of this card ready to go. And I did pre-cut these little guys so that I wasn't just cutting with you all night long. So those will go on with our embellishments. Now I used blends this evening, and with blends I'm going to use our Memento ink. And I did try to do a little bit here and there in advance just for time saving. purposes. So this is my white blank pad that I actually put a memento refill in so that I could stamp, and that is what I did with the elephant. Okay. And then I used the dark and light smoky slate to color the elephant. So when I did him, I colored the whole elephant in the light, and then I gave some shadows where I thought it would naturally occur. So we're gonna do that now. So I'm gonna color my whole elephant in the light smoky slate, and then I'll go back and add my dark shaded elements there. Our markers are double-sided, so we have a thick end and a thinner end. These are great for giving light and dark areas, shadows. You can build these one upon the other. So if I wanted to color additional layers of the same color, that would work as well for getting some shadow effects. We also have a color lifter, which allows you to kind of bleach or lighten certain areas. So areas where there might be a little bit of a highlight, you could do that. So that's our light. And then I'm going to take the dark. Here is that thin end. And I'm just going to do a little bit of dark where there's wrinkles in the elephant's skin, but then I added a little bit where there would naturally be some shadow. So like on the belly, at the bottom of the legs, right back here might be a little bit of a shadow. Under his ear might have some shadow. And you can do small circles, straight lines, however you want to do it. Again, I can build even darker. So I can add a little extra in places. And then over time, it kind of settles into each other. You can add another round. It'll make it a little darker. All right, I think that's probably good enough. If I don't like that harshness that it looks like it has, I can come back, just kind of blend those back together. Just add another little layer of this light here, and you'll see how it just kind of meshes those two colors together. All right, so there's our elephant, and I will show you very quickly that lifter. So this is what the color lifter looks like. And let's say I just want a little bit of lightness right here on his belly. You can see that that lightened up right here. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut this out. So I have my die cut. This is not the right one, so let's grab the elephant outline. This is gonna go right around there. And I like to get it so that there's going to be a tiny little bit of white around the whole thing. And then I will carefully put this down. I tell everybody, when you've got something like this, if you put this on the outer edge, you are going to have the least likelihood that you will tear any of the paper that the elephant is on. So again, we'll put that in our little sandwich. cut him out. Now, if you're really good or you're making multiples of these, you could cut out different elements in one pass. So just think about that. If you are going, oh my God, I don't have time to do all of those different little die cuts, you could do the elephant and the stars in a pass. It really, if you can get it on this plate, you can do as many different shapes as you would like. Okay, so let's see. The last thing we're going to do for this one, move this out of the way, we're going to stamp our inside sentiment and our outside sentiment. So on the inside, we are doing congratulations on your new little one. And I just did that up here, leaving plenty of room to write. Some people like to put that right in the middle because they don't really want to write a whole lot. So however you like it, that is your prerogative. So here is our, nope, wrong one. Let's move that over here. Okay, little baby, big love. Sometimes I'm prepared, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we're going to go ahead and stamp this where there are two straight sides, because we are going to fussy cut this into two parts. So you can see we have it here and here. Okay, so the easiest way to do that is to use the letters as your guideline. So I am using them. It does not have to be as perfect as you think because you're cutting it apart. So it's not really going to have a lot of room for error, for lack of a better word here. Okay, so I've cut it, and now I'm going to be careful and make sure I'm using the straightest cut across those letters. All right, so tonight's kit comes with an added bonus. Because you're going to want some mini dimensionals, you will get a sheet of mini dimensionals. Yours won't have coloring on it, but the colors are here so that I can see when I have removed the backings or not. So you will be receiving a sheet of these, and feel free to use a highlighter and do that for yours. So I can tell I haven't removed those. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the mini dimensionals to the back of each of these stars. And I did use all 6 of these on the card. I am using my Take a Pick tool because while I absolutely love my nails, I think I left them a hair too long this last go round. So they're not exactly what I'm accustomed to. So I'm using my little Take a Pick tool because it helps get it in the right place, because these are tiny stars. Obviously you can tell that with these tiny little mini Stampin' Dimensionals. Whew. All right, but I am going to use a couple of regular ones because we're going to need a couple for our elephant in a moment. So I put one at the top and one at the bottom. That's all he's going to need. And now we're going to use 4 on this circle, and we're using 4 so that we can put together our thread in a moment, our cording. Let me see what the name of this stuff is, because I'm terrible with names. Threaded twine. It's very thick. You can pull pieces and parts of it out and create smaller thicknesses with it. However, I really liked using it full strength, as the case may be. It gives a lot of texture without having too much on there. So I think we are officially ready to put everything together. Move this out of the way. All right, so I have my card base, and I am simply going to attach this Misty Moonlight layer underneath. I'm centering it on the front of the card base. It is the shadow underneath. You could absolutely use half of this. I just happened to cut it and got it like super simple there. Now for this layer, I am going to use dimensionals so that it is propped up well around this whole thing, so you can actually get that shadow. For me, it was like a night sky effect. And you just want to make sure that you are not covering up your holes of your stars. So there we go. All right, so now this one is going to be level with the actual card base, even with the card base around the edges. So you're simply going to make sure that you line it up so that the stars are on top and your card is opening on the left. Okay. I'm simply lining it up right here and then across the bottom here. And now it is even across the front. All right, so the next thing I did was I got my twine ready to go. So I folded it in like a figure 8. Just kind of adjusted it so it's kind of even on both sides, just like this. Oh, well, I don't know how that happened. Hold on one second. There we go. All right. Just goes to show you I get engrossed in what I'm doing and I'm not paying attention to the screen. I apologize. All right, so figure 8, tails, even if possible, okay? Now, all those little cross pieces are going in the center, but I want to make sure to include inside the loop that dimensional. That's what's going to hold this from pulling apart completely. And now I'm going to hold that nice and flat, and I'm going to turn this over and center it on here. Just pushing those things down. So now I have my loops and tails, and you can see that there is a little bit of adjustment that you can make here. Okay, it's going to be a little, I don't want to say lumpy, but it could be if you were pushing down super hard. So here's where your elephant is going to come in. All right, so our elephant is going to go right over that possible lump to hide that. And since we put it on dimensionals, everything is nice and pretty. Okay, so now we're going to do our words here. So we're going to put our little baby big love. And we'll add our stars. And then I have some gemstones to put on here because I really wanted that night sky and I like stars. So I thought twinkling lights, stars, sparkle like a diamond in the sky, you know, that kind of stuff. All right. Oh, telling you, these little teeny tiny pieces everywhere. Okay. All right, so I've got those, and let's put some of those twinkling stars in the sky. Another tip, I keep losing my lid, colored it with a Sharpie. Now I can see it on the table. You don't want to lose it. And I think I put a whole bunch of these, so, you know, have at it when you have them. So there is the outside. Let's go ahead and adhere our inside piece. I should probably color this lid as well. I keep losing that one too. These are the first world problems, right? Okay, congratulations on your new little one. So here is our first card. Ta-da! All right, we are moving on to card number 2. All right, so here is card number 2. Says, congratulations on your new little one, just like the last one did. And you can see this one has some texture. We've got some cutouts. We've got our cow, and I love brown cows. So this is my homage to the brown cows out there. And then this offers a little bit of dimension there, putting some of our elements in the background. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, I did sort of prepare some things so that we wouldn't be here all night, but obviously there's still plenty to cut on video here. So I have a piece for the moon, I've got an inside piece, and then a background piece. So we're going to do a tiny bit of blending. I did go ahead and cut this. We will emboss it in just a moment, but I'm going to go ahead and do the blending and the stamping. And honestly, I thought I had the cow already, but apparently I did not. So we're going to stamp and color the cow in just a moment. All right, so I have my blending brushes. I just want a light shadow on the inside, so I'm swirling it in. Oh, Lord, the wrong color. So let me show you what happens when you need to clean your brushes. So move that off to the side. So I just have a simple microfiber cloth. I used to have one that was pretty ugly from this process, but I must have washed it and haven't brought it back in. So I accidentally put our Memento ink on here, so I've got to get that off. So I'm simply going to swirl this over and over and over until I can brush this on here without any black ink. And that looks pretty good. A little shadowy, but haven't done that mistake too often, so very grateful of that. But there's a first time for everything. So just getting any excess off. Again, swirling up and down, back and forth. All right. So now I can use the right color. So this is Balmy Blue. It is going to be just a faded piece in the background. It matches both the Balmy Blue for the moon and our card base. So swirl, swirl, swirl. We want to swirl it on here just in case there's any harshness, and then I can just kind of swirl it on here, and the more I do, the darker it's going to get. And I'm just going to use my piece here to judge if I need to do anything extra. I'm going to leave it like that. It looks good. Move this out of the way so I don't have any more. I don't even know where that goes. All right. So now that I have that, I'm going to move this aside. Let's go ahead and do our cow. I'll pull the black back over. And I'm wearing ink. Okay. So I'm going to be careful because I do want to use the upper part of this to cut my clouds. So I'm going to put the cow down here at the bottom. And I'm going to do my congratulations on your new little one. And hopefully I will have room to cut those clouds out as well. If not, it's not a big deal. I will come back to it in a moment. All right, so Highland cow-ish. I mean, he's got tufts of hair up there, right? So I did use the natural skin tones for this. And just kind of colored the dark, just some dark spots. You can make him whatever colors you want. And then I was wonderful enough that I even gave him pink feet. So, I mean, this really is whatever you choose. Looks like I need a new one of these. Occasionally, the thick end will get real mushy. And I do not like it when that happens. And I want to color the little tip of his tail darker. And I'm using this pink for his nose and his toes. All right, so now we have our cow colored. And we have our sentiment, and now let's get our clouds. And I did 2 clouds and the moon. So we'll put our moon on the blue, and this is where we could use one big pass for all of our die cutting. Get another little piece of washi tape here for these 2. Okay, and a tiny little one so our moon doesn't slip off. Okay. Just make room to pull my die cut machine back up here. So I could die cut even more on here because plenty fits. Yes, it makes lots of noise. It sounds like it's, you know, having a fit, but that's what it sounds like. Okay. So we have our moon stuck to the plate somehow. There we go. And our clouds and our cow. And the next thing I'm going to do is send my card front through with one of our 3D embossing folders. So I'm going to move these parts aside for a moment and pull out the embossing folder, which is right here. This is the time worn type, and I just kind of really like that. It reminds me, this cow set, Little Dreamers, reminded me of nursery rhymes, and so I thought the time worn type kind of matched with the old time nursery rhymes that have been around for ages. So that is why I chose that one. The other one I might have chosen would have been one of our 3D basics, which is a polka dot one. And I don't know if those are available right now. They are an online exclusive, and you just have to check and see the day you're going to buy it if it's available. I think it is time to put this one together. So on the inside, I just stamped the little shooting star. So let me grab that stamp. Oh, I have it right here, ready to go. And we will use a little daffodil delight. Oops, sorry about that noise. And you could even put this up here instead of at the bottom, either way you want. And you can color it with your blends. If you wanted to. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the inside. And I like it at the top, so I'm gonna make this at the top this time. All right, so let's see. And now I'm going to adhere this to our card base. Again, I'm going to center it. It's going to be covered by our top layer. We have just a tiny bit of shading in the background, which I absolutely love. And again, dimensionals. Using the big ones here because I really want this to be well supported so that it has that nice deep opening in the circle. So I'm making sure I have one on each edge of this circle here. All right. You can probably tell from my videos that I spend money each order on dimensionals, and I do. It is one of my ultimate favorite adhesives to use, especially just to elevate my cards a tiny little bit. Give a little extra oomph. Okay. So for my cow, he is sitting half over the circle and half on my top layer. So he's going to get a dimensional underneath and just a little Stampin' Seal or a dot of glue on his bottom area here. So again, dimensional at the top, tiny bit of Stampin' Seal at the bottom, just so he doesn't fall off in transit or when someone displays the card later. And then I just kind of slid this down till I felt the edge of the dimensional meet up with the bottom of that circle. So he is lifted in there, but stuck. He's well stuck. Okay, so again, we're going to use some minis. Now, the clouds and the moon all have like little stitching in the die cut, so it is, there is a right side and a wrong side. If you can see that clearly or not, that is the right side. And you can see like the wrong side just looks like you stitched. Let's see if I pull that. There we go. Just looks like little holes. Okay. So you do have to put your clouds on first before you put your moon. And I just did a smaller cloud over here, bottom right, and the larger cloud a little higher toward the center, upper left area. And now the moon is simply going to overlap that big cloud on the dimensional there. And then I add some little embellishments here. I'm going to use the rule of threes for this one, so I'm going to do a little bit of a triangle with them. And then I will add our sentiment on here as well. So I just fussy cut around this. And the biggest tip for fussy cutting is to turn your paper, not your scissors. And I just kind of wiggle because I know I'm not going to be able to cut this straight. So give it a little bit of a wiggle and it will not matter. Just kind of outline those letters. I do love our paper snips for this. They are nice and sharp, and they're the perfect size for fussy cutting this kind of stuff. They're a little small for large cutting, but I have regular old scissors for that, and so I will typically use those if I'm cutting something large in half or whatever. But for small cuts and little pieces and projects like that, I will definitely use those. They are the best. Just going to add this down here on the right. And there is card number 2. So we have one more card to go. Okay. Move that aside. And I'm going to take just a moment to kind of clean up my space here and tell you about my October stamp camp being held with my good friend Melissa from oh Lord, she has a couple names. I think it's Shop Melissa in Real Life. And so she and I are going to do a virtual stamp camp. So you don't have to come to us in person. You can simply have the materials, which we will provide a materials list. And you just need to sign up. If you're one of Melissa's customers, you'll sign up through her. If you're one of my customers, you'll sign up through me. And that is, I mean, pretty much the bulk of the information for that. It's going to be Saturday, October 29th. So you have plenty of time to plan for it. And again, it'll be virtual. So you will not have to be here. You don't even have to be live, but we will be live on Zoom. And we also have a guest stamper, Sherry. I do not know how to pronounce your name, your last name, Sherry. So maybe when we get together, I'll ask you how to pronounce that. Ozeki, not 100% sure, but Sherry will be joining us as a guest stamper. And I'm so excited about that because that means you're going to get to see projects from 3 different creators with 3 different styles of card making. We also will have a project. So I'm going to share this with you because this will be one of the projects in the stamp camp. So you will receive all the pieces and parts to create this wall hanging. which is kind of exciting. 3D item there, and lots of cards between the couple of us. They're not all the same holiday, so I will be doing fall themed, so Thanksgiving-ish, and I believe Melissa's gonna do Christmas, and I'm not 100% sure what Miss Sherry has decided to do yet, but I can't wait to find out. So I'm quickly going to clean these off so that I am not making a mess with this next card. This next card was inspired by Denise McCabe from Australia. And I looked at it and it was gorgeous. I only made like 1 or 2 tweaks. Otherwise, I pretty much what we call cased her card, which is copy and share everything. So I was excited that I could do that. So let me share that card with you right away. Okay, so look how beautiful this is. Now, my coloring is different from hers, and I've added sparkle to this star. Yeah, it's a blue star, but I love it. And when you see it in person, it just sparkles. This is Wink of Stella on the star. And I did end up using another stamp, which I have listed, called It's in the Stars. This stamp actually goes with like a space theme that we have in our annual catalog. This is a background stamp, so one of our biggest blocks or a platform would be your best bet to using this. So you can see I've already got this in. I have a piece of paper in here so I know where this is. I just loved this card so much. Okay, so this is Berry Burst. And we used Berry Burst on the bubble bath paper, which we did last week for birthday cards, if you recall. So let's see. And I did use a little different gemstone for this one. But again, if you're spending $50 with me, you are actually going to receive a set of these, the rhinestones. So you could use this on this card as well. I just went with the really kind of girly pinkish look. Not that, you know, I'm all about gender and stereotypes or anything, but I like pink, ladies and gentlemen. I like pink. The actress, singer, musician, and the color. So, all right. So card number 3, we are going to do our first layer. So we have our card base, set that aside, and we're going to go ahead and stamp with that sky constellation background with our Berry Burst using our platform. This platform is not available to you, but there are others out on the market. Feel free to grab one wherever you would like. I'm hoping that ours comes back. Make sure you have baby wipes nearby and handy in case you're like me when you stamp and you make a mess. You could just have a wet washcloth nearby. No paper towels, something that's a little more recyclable. Use these a little too often, but I really do enjoy the handiness of them. All right, so I'm gonna tap, tap, tap all over this. Make sure I have ink on all of the stars and constellations. And then I'm going to simply close this up. And I'm gonna press down across this stamp and make sure the whole thing has touched my card base, and my card may or may not stick to the actual stamp when I lift it, and that's not a problem. This time it did not. It stayed on the background there. So that is that layer for our card. That aside. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this right on with seal or glue. Now I did use our 2-inch punch, and I punched out a piece of vellum. So that is going to go up on dimensionals in a moment. And then we have our A Star is Born sentiment. That again, you do not have to fussy cut. You could have a rectangle for this or whatever. It really is your preference. Last week I put bows on the right. This week I fussy cut every sentiment. So obviously there's a theme when I design or when I find things that I like. So I don't realize it until I'm on here live with you all. Or on the replay with you, because I know there's a couple of things happening tonight and I'm going to have to watch their replays. So sometimes a lot of us are live at the same time. All right, so again, we are going to color. And let's see. I loved this Daffodil Delight and Lemon Lolly. So I used the dark Daffodil Delight for all the dark areas of my lion, like his mane and his shadows. And I used my favorite Lemon Lolly for the actual lion himself. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my lightest color. And I'm going to use the fine side for this. And I'm going to color all of his parts. They're going to be lighter colored here. So I did his body in this light color as well. And then I'll go back and add the dark daffodil for his extra details. And I gave him a pink belly because I really love how that matches along with the background of our base color of the stamps, my background card base. So I used the bubble bath for that. Sorry. Obviously, I can't color and talk at the same time, so you'll have to use your imagination. All right, Dark Daffodil Delight. Let's go ahead and do his mane and his tail and his darker accents. So again, he's going to have some shadowing down here. And then we'll do his mane. And I think just a little extra dark here. And that's it. So he is done. And this time, let's see, I'm going to pull out a green for his balloon. So I just pulled out Dark Parakeet Party. And I'm going to just color in his balloon green. And then I'm going to take our Wink of Stella, and I'm going to make this a very shiny, glittery balloon. And this is what Wink of Stella looks like. It's in this little container, and you pull this off, and you can gently squeeze where it says to push. and just literally like squeeze and let go. And you don't squeeze too hard or you'll end up with blobs of this everywhere. And then I simply just color on top. I'm sure you cannot tell all the glittery sparkle that's happening, but know that it is there. It reminds me of Halloween when you used to buy the spray glitter for your hair at Halloween time. Let's see if we can find some sparkle. Oh, I saw a little tiny bit of sparkle. All right. So one last thing, we're going to cut some clouds. And of course, I didn't really stamp him anywhere great. So we're going to cut our clouds around him. And we need, I did 2 little ones. So I'm going to have to see if this interferes. Nope. All right, so we're going to line him up and put a little bit of our washi tape down. Let's see. There we go. Okay. And we will run this through the machine. And now I can use the baby for this because I do not have any large sheets of paper. So this is the mini Stampin' Emboss machine, teeny tiny. It's smaller than a handbag. So just put this on here like this. Sandwich that in. Oh, and I forgot, I'm going to run this through all at once. So I did 3 little stars. So let me add that to our plate so that I don't have to do too many passes here. Okay. So the only thing I have to do now is one more small cloud. My nose is running a little bit, kind of warm in this room. I was really ready for fall. The mornings are beautiful. My dogs are loving it in the mornings. They're starting to be like, I want to come inside, but I got to go to work, so you got to come inside. Okay. So we have one more white cloud to do. And we'll just fit that right on here. Nope. So one more pass and we will be finished with our die cuts. So now I actually have 2 clouds in here because I forgot to pop the first one out of the die. So let's see if they look okay. And they do, they're fine. The second one has a little less of an indentation there from the little stitching marks. However, it still looks okay. So I think I'm good. Okay, so I'm going to put one of the dimensionals underneath this vellum. Use a regular size dimensional here. I actually used 2 on the original card. So let's put 2. Our lion is actually going to cover. So I'm just going to kind of make sure he does. before I stick it on there. And then I can add dimensionals to him as well. And I did not put any on the star because his balloon actually hangs off. So make sure I cover up those layers. So I have 2 layers here. Offers a lot of detail. Love, love, love it. Here is our sentiment. We'll put that in the bottom corner. And then our clouds. Now I could use one large one on the big cloud, and I really liked just one little mini on the little clouds. And then I did do my rule of 3s on the clouds, so my clouds are kind of a trio. And again, another trio with our little teeny tiny stars. All right, so we can scatter these stars in here however we want. And I absolutely love this card. This is not something I would have dreamed up on my own. So I'm very grateful that we have artisan tagged team members to be as artsy as they possibly can and create cards that other people are free to emulate and change as they wish. And it just is really, really quite nice to be able to have somebody else's ideas, and then I can go and then create something so beautiful that my brain may not have ever thought of initially. So it's wonderful that that happens. So I didn't do any stamping on the inside here, but I am going to put this in there. Again, I could add a shooting star if I wanted. You could add some designer series paper on the inside, a little strip of it. There are lots of ways that if you are feeling inclined to do, you can add extra on the inside. But this is card number 3. All right. Whew. We were on for just over an hour today. I hope you enjoyed these 3 cards. Again, like, follow, subscribe, notifications on, all of those wonderful things keep me creating. And I hope that you enjoyed what I had for you tonight. And I'll see you soon. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.